I want you to look at what is on that counter for a moment. An egg, a lemon, a jar of honey, a bottle of olive oil. My grandmother used every one of those things on her face, not in addition to her skincare routine. Instead of it, that was the routine. What you are looking at right now. Nothing is missing from the frame. She was wrinkle-free at 71. The global skincare market is currently worth over $180 billion. $180 billion to solve a problem that women in 1943 were solving for free. Not for almost nothing. Not for a few dollars a month. For zero. Literally $0. Because every ingredient they used was already in the kitchen for other purposes. The egg was for breakfast. The lemon was for the tea. The honey was on the shelf since January. The olive oil was for the salad. None of it was purchased for the face. All of it worked on the face. And the faces that resulted, the faces of American women in their 60s and 70s who had been applying kitchen ingredients to their skin for 40 years, were not the faces of women who had been neglecting their skincare. They were the faces of women who had been doing it correctly. This is the complete $0 skincare routine of the 1940s American woman. Every ingredient, every step, every mechanism explained by the science that the industry spent 80 years hoping you would never connect to the kitchen shelf. Before we begin, subscribe if you haven't already. Every day on this channel we recover the forgotten wisdom that cost nothing and worked better than what replaced it. Hit the bell. Now, let's go through every step of the routine that cost exactly nothing. Step 1. The morning rinse. The morning routine began with water. Not a cleanser, not a micellar solution, not a cleansing balm or a foam or a gel or an oil-to-milk formula. Water. Lukewarm, not hot, because hot water strips the skin's natural lipid barrier, and she had been told this at 15 and never forgotten it. She splashed her face 3 times with cupped hands, patted dry with a clean cotton cloth, pressed, not rubbed. That was the morning cleanse. The reasoning was simple and correct. The face that slept with cold cream applied the previous evening was already clean. The cold cream had done the work of the night before. The morning required only the removal of whatever the overnight hours had deposited on the skin's surface, which, in the absence of environmental exposure, makeup, and pollution, was almost nothing. A morning rinse with lukewarm water and a clean cotton cloth cost exactly $0. It preserved the skin's natural oil layer. It did not disrupt the acid mantle. It did not require anything to follow it to repair the damage it caused, because it caused no damage. The morning cleanser at the drugstore costs between $12 and $30. The skin that uses it daily needs the moisturizer that follows it to replace what the cleanser removed. The moisturizer needs the toner that prepares the skin for it. The toner needs the essence that prepares the skin for the toner. She needed water and a cotton cloth. Step 2. The egg white tightening treatment. Not every morning. 2 or 3 times a week, when the day permitted the 15 minutes required. 1 egg white. Separated from the yolk, which went into the scrambled eggs for breakfast because nothing was wasted. Whisked briefly with a fork. Applied to the face and décolletage with clean fingertips in a thin, even layer. Left until completely dry, approximately 12 to 15 minutes, during which the skin contracted progressively tighter. Rinsed with cool water. The egg white contains albumin, a protein that forms a temporary film on the skin surface as it dries. The film contracts. The contraction tightens the skin mechanically, and temporarily reduces the appearance of fine lines and enlarged pores. The effect is immediate and visible, and lasts through the morning and into the afternoon. The lifting and firming serums, sold today for between $45 and $120, attempt to replicate this effect with synthetic polymers and peptides that produce a similar temporary tightening sensation. The mechanism is the same. The source is completely different. The egg cost 3 cents in 1943. The yolk went into breakfast. The white went on her face. 0 additional cost. Step 3. The honey antibacterial treatment. Raw honey, not the commercial pasteurized variety in the plastic bear-shaped bottle, but the unfiltered honey from the local farm stand or the pharmacy shelf, applied directly to the face after the egg white rinse. A small amount on the fingertips, worked into areas prone to breakouts or irritation in small, gentle circles. Left for 5 minutes, rinsed with lukewarm water. Raw honey contains hydrogen peroxide in trace amounts, produced by the enzyme glucose oxidase. This is one of the mechanisms behind its antibacterial properties. It also contains methylglyoxal, a compound with documented antimicrobial activity against the bacteria responsible for acne. It is hygroscopic, meaning it draws moisture from the surrounding environment into the skin and holds it there. And it has anti-inflammatory compounds that calm reactive and irritated skin. These properties were not understood in 1943 in these terms. What was understood was that honey on a blemish made the blemish smaller, that honey on irritated skin made the skin calm, that a face treated with honey had a quality to it, a softness, a clarity, that persisted beyond the treatment. The Journal of Wound Care Research confirmed the antibacterial mechanisms of raw honey in 2011. The dermatological community has been recommending it for acne management increasingly since 2015. The women of the 1940s were there in 1943. A jar of raw honey cost 25 cents. A jar lasted months. The face application used a fraction of what was used for baking and cooking. The cost attributable specifically to skincare? Effectively, 0. Step 4. The olive oil night treatment. This was the evening treatment, applied after washing the day from the face and before sleep. 3 drops of olive oil, the same bottle used for cooking, already on the counter, already purchased for other purposes, warmed briefly between the palms and applied to the face and neck in upward circles. Worked into the skin until absorbed. No tissue removal. Left to work overnight. Olive oil contains oleic acid, which has a molecular structure similar to the skin's own sebum and is therefore absorbed readily without sitting on the skin's surface as a greasy layer. It contains squalene, a naturally occurring compound present in the skin's own lipid barrier. It contains polyphenols with documented antioxidant activity. It contains vitamin E in its natural tocopherol form, the same vitamin E that is added at significant cost to formulated anti-aging moisturizers. The oil applied to the face at night fed the skin's lipid layer from the outside, while the skin's own regenerative processes worked from the inside. The combination of external nourishment and undisturbed overnight repair produced skin that, over years of consistent application, maintained a quality that no formulated moisturizer has matched with statistical consistency in comparative research. A bottle of olive oil cost 40 cents in 1943. It was used for cooking, for salad dressings, for the children's hair, and for the face. The cost attributable to skincare was a fraction of the 40 cents. Effectively, 0. Step 5. The lemon brightening treatment. dark spots, uneven skin tone, the accumulation of sun damage that appeared on the backs of the hands and occasionally on the face of a woman who had spent years outdoors without the vocabulary of UV protection. The treatment: fresh lemon juice diluted in equal parts water, applied with a cotton ball to the specific areas of concern, left for 10 minutes, no longer on the face because undiluted citric acid on the face for extended periods causes irritation. Rinsed with cool water. Applied consistently over weeks, the citric acid in the lemon juice and alpha-hydroxy acid, the same category of active ingredients sold in professional brightening treatments for $65 a bottle, gently accelerated the turnover of the pigmented surface cells, revealing the less pigmented cells beneath. The result was a gradual and natural-looking evening of skin tone that required no chemical peel, no laser appointment, no prescription tretinoin. A lemon cost 5 cents. One lemon produced multiple applications. The cost attributable to skincare, less than 1 cent per treatment. Step 6. The cold water splash. Cold water on the face, not lukewarm, cold. Not as the primary cleanse, that was lukewarm. As a finishing step after any treatment, and as a midday refresh when the day had been long and the face needed to be brought back to attention. Cold water causes vasoconstriction, the temporary narrowing of surface blood vessels. This produces a visible tightening of the skin and a reduction in the appearance of redness and puffiness. It causes the pores to contract temporarily. It brings blood to the surface of the face in the rebound phase after the cold is removed, which produces a natural flush that looks like the result of a vitamin C serum applied 15 minutes before. No product. A faucet. 15 seconds. The ice roller that is currently sold for between $20 and $60 as a morning facial tool works on this same vasoconstriction principle. The technology is identical to cold tap water on a face. The packaging is different. So is the price. Step 7. The Vaseline eye and lip treatment. The eye area last, always last, because the skin here was the most delicate and received the most careful attention. A tiny amount of Vaseline petroleum jelly on the ring finger, always the ring finger, the weakest, the one least likely to pull the delicate tissue, pressed with the barest pressure into the under eye area and along the orbital bone. The same jar used for the children's chapped lips. The same jar used for rough elbows. One jar. Every surface that needed it. Petroleum jelly is an occlusive. It creates a physical barrier on the skin surface that prevents transepidermal water loss, the evaporation of moisture from the skin's surface layers during the night when the air in a house is dry and the skin is exposed for 8 hours without external humidity. The under-eye skin has fewer sebaceous glands than the rest of the face. It produces almost no natural oil of its own. Without an external occlusive applied nightly, the moisture in this skin evaporates during sleep, and the skin progressively thins, cracks, and develops the fine, crepey texture that is one of the primary visible signs of aging around the eye. With Vaseline applied nightly, the moisture stays in. The skin does not thin at the same rate. The under-eye area at 60 looks like what it is. The under-eye area of a woman who has been protecting it every night for 40 years. The eye cream at the beauty counter costs between $30 and $90. The active occlusive mechanism in most of them is petrolatum, the same ingredient as Vaseline. The additional ingredients are largely cosmetic. They make the formula feel better on the skin and justify the price point. The Vaseline cost 19 cents in 1945 and lasted 6 months. The eye cream costs $65 and lasts 2 months. The result on the skin is not measurably different. I want to say something directly about what we are looking at here. This is not a primitive routine that worked despite its simplicity. This is a sophisticated routine that worked because of its simplicity. Each ingredient addresses a specific biological need of the skin. The egg white addresses temporary firmness. The honey addresses bacterial control and hydration. The olive oil addresses the lipid barrier. The lemon addresses cell turnover. The cold water addresses circulation. The Vaseline addresses moisture retention at the eye. 6 biological needs. 6 kitchen ingredients. 6 mechanisms that the industry now sells in 6 separate products at a combined price of between $200 and $300 per month. The women of the 1940s were not making do with what they had. They had identified what the skin actually needed and found the most direct available source of each thing. The industry did not improve on this. It monetized it. It took each mechanism, isolated it, repackaged it, gave it a clinical name, and sold it back at a price that required its own shelf in the bathroom. The shelf is now 12 products long. The kitchen counter was 7 ingredients, 6 of which cost nothing because they were already there. My grandmother did not have a skincare routine. She had a kitchen. And at 71, her skin was the proof. Step 8. The consistency itself. This is the step that no product can replicate. The egg white and the honey and the olive oil and the lemon and the Vaseline all work. The science confirms every mechanism. But they work the way all skincare works, through consistent, unbroken application over months and years, not through a single dramatic intervention. The women who had the skin they had at 70 were the women who had been doing the same thing every morning and every evening since they were in their 20s. Not the women who had found the right product. The women who had found a routine and stayed with it. The modern skincare consumer changes her routine every 3 to 6 months on average, responding to new trends, new products, new claims, new before and after photographs in targeted advertising. The skin never stabilizes. It is always adjusting to a new set of ingredients and never gets the benefit of the compounding improvement that years of consistent care produce. The women of the 1940s were not disciplined in some special way. They were not more patient than we are. They were consistent because they had nothing to be inconsistent with. There was one routine, the same every day. Nothing to replace it with, no advertisement suggesting it was not enough. The routine worked because it was done every day, for 40 years. That is the ingredient the industry cannot bottle and cannot sell. The complete $0 routine. For anyone who wants to begin, here is the complete routine exactly as the women of the 1940s practiced it. Morning. Lukewarm water rinse, patted dry with a clean cotton cloth. 2 to 3 times weekly, an egg white mask left until dry and rinsed with cool water. A cold water splash as a finish. Evening. The face washed with a small amount of olive oil on a cotton cloth, or with a bar of plain soap if the day required it. A small amount of raw honey left on any areas of concern for 5 minutes, then rinsed. 3 drops of olive oil applied in upward circles to the face and neck and left overnight. A tiny amount of Vaseline on the ring finger, pressed gently into the under eye area. Weekly. Fresh lemon juice diluted in equal parts water, applied with a cotton ball to dark spots and uneven areas, left 10 minutes, rinsed with cool water. Not more than weekly. Citric acid applied more frequently causes irritation. Total cost. The Vaseline, purchased once, lasts 6 months at under $2. The olive oil is already in the kitchen. The eggs are already in the kitchen. The honey is already in the kitchen. The lemon is already in the kitchen. The cotton cloths are cut from worn-out cotton shirts or sheets. Total additional spend for skincare specifically, effectively zero. Everything else is already there. $180 billion. That is what the industry currently generates annually, selling solutions to a problem that the women of 1943 were solving with what was already on their kitchen counter. The solutions they sell are not inferior. Some of them work very well. But none of them work better, with greater consistency, over a 40-year period than what a woman in a wartime American kitchen was doing for free because she had no alternative, and therefore never learned to doubt it. She did not have a skincare budget. She had a kitchen and a discipline and the knowledge transmitted from her mother of what the skin actually needed and where to find it. The skin needed oil. The kitchen had oil. The skin needed protein. The kitchen had eggs. The skin needed antibacterial treatment. The kitchen had honey. The skin needed gentle acid exfoliation. The kitchen had lemons. The eye skin needed an occlusive. The bathroom shelf had Vaseline. Everything the skin needed, already there, for $0. The next time someone sells you the idea that your skincare routine needs to be more expensive to be effective, I want you to remember this kitchen, this counter, these 7 things. She knew. We forgot. Now, you remember. Leave a comment below. Tell me which step of this routine you are starting with tonight. The olive oil? The honey? The Vaseline on the eye area? I want to know. And come back in a month and tell me what happened. Like this video if it made you look at your kitchen differently. Subscribe for more of this every single day. The next video is already waiting. She knew. We forgot. Now, you remember.